Hi class, in this video I'm going to be talking about exact value versus approximate values relating to irrational numbers. So pi, if you recall, is an irrational number because it can't be expressed as a fraction, and it's non-terminating and it's non-repeating, and it goes on forever. To find circumference, I take pi and I multiply it by diameter. So first, let's find out what pi is. If I type pi into my calculator, I get it as 3.141592654. Of course, that's only because I only have so many digits in a calculator that I can get for a number. This actually goes on forever. So pi is approximately 3.14, right? You probably heard that before. The 3.14 is the approximate value of this irrational number. Meanwhile, this pi symbol is the exact value, right? So this is exact value right here for pi, and the 3.14 would be the approximate value. Okay, now what's bad about using the approximate value? So let's say I want to do a calculation now. I'm going to let C represent circumference. If I use the approximate value instead, 3.14 multiplied by my diameter of 6 centimeters, let's see what answer I get. So 3.14 times 6. I get about 18.84 centimeters. Now what happens if I instead take pi and multiply it by 6 centimeters? Would my answer be different? In this case, I have pi times 6. My answer is 18.8495 centimeters, right? Now, comparing the two, they do look sort of similar. However, if you were to round, let's say, to the nearest hundredth for 18.8495, because the 9 is 5 or greater, it's going to round this up, and I actually end up getting an answer that's closer to 18.85 centimeters. So they are different, but also very close. The exact value is always more accurate to use than using the approximate value. But sometimes, let's say when we're just multiplying decimals, we like to use 3.14 when we, in lieu of 3.14159, et cetera, that continues on, because, well, we just don't have that exact value on us when we're doing mental math. But to be more accurate, an exact value is much more accurate than an approximate value. Let's go over another example. Let's say I'm asked to calculate the square root of 2 times 2. Now we know the square root of 2 is a irrational number because it's non-terminating and it's non-repeating. And we know if we take the square root of numbers that aren't perfect squares, they are irrational numbers. So in this case, the square root of 2 is approximately, let's find out what it would be. The square root of 2 is approximately 1.41. So if you took 1.41 and you multiplied it by 2, you're going to get a much different answer than if you took root 2, the square root of 2, and times it by 2. So in this case, I'm getting 2.82. But if I take the square root of 2 and I multiply it by 2, I'm going to get 2.8284 ... And again, if I round this number, it's going to be approximately, to the nearest hundredth, it's going to be 2.83 instead. Again, the exact value, root 2, is much more accurate than the approximate value of 1.41. But again, if you're doing mental math, it's unlikely that you can use all of the digits of the exact value. So when you do mental math, you can always leave your answer in terms of the exact value. So instead of calculating it, the answer as approximately 2.83 or 2.82, you can just say your answer is just the square root of 2 times 2, right? Similarly here, You could, instead of just writing your answer as 18.85 or 18.84, you could just leave your answer as 6 times pi or 6 pi. That's also an option as well.